Idan kana so ka fesuwa ko ka tsaya, duka zaka samu a Radio Afinju. Kwarai da gaske, Radio Afinju ne shugaban radio a nan Osogbo, Osun State. Radio Afinju in tsarin yana da labari mai inganci da kyau. Radio Afinju, an impeccable dimension to broadcasting.
You're listening or watching Radio Afinju. The time is 6 p.m.
Ẹ bá mi pè o. Afinju. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Afinju. Rédíò. Afinju. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Afinju. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń wo Afinju. Lórí WhatsApp. Afinju. Instagram. Afinju. Facebook. Afinju. Lórí X. Afinju. Lórí YouTube. Afinju. Lórí TikTok. Afinju. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Afinju. Ẹ bá mi pè o. Afinju. Rédíò. Afinju. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Afinju. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń wo Afinju. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Afinju. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń wo Afinju. Rédíò Afinju. Rédíò Afinju. Rédíò Afinju.
Stay informed with news on Radio Afinju.
First, a look at the highlights. Serap sues NBC over ban on Idris Abdulkarim's song Tell Your Papa. 14-year-old girl killed by lion in Kenya. Canada votes in federal elections under shadow of Trump threats. Good evening, happy Easter. Welcome to the World News on Radio Afinju. My name is Pearl Durotoye. The news in detail. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has sued the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, over what it described as the arbitrary and unlawful ban of Idris Abdulkarim's song, Tell Your Papa. This was disclosed in a statement signed by Serap's Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, and made available to journalists today. The song, reportedly critical of President Bola Tinubu's economic policies, was banned from broadcast for allegedly violating public decency standards. In the suit marked FHCL/L/CS/797/2025 and filed at the Federal High Court, Lagos, Serap is seeking an order to set aside NBC's directive, describing it as inconsistent with rights to freedom of expression, access to information, and media freedom. The Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, the Kebbi State branch, asked service chiefs in the country to live up to Nigerians' expectations by ensuring the security of their lives, property, and constitutional rights. The state branch chairman of the association, Venerable Ayuba Kanta, gave the charge in Benin Kebbi this morning during Easter service. According to him, if the leaders escape justice on earth, the wrath of God, which is certain, awaits them, saying there is life after death and just judgment before God, as pointed out in the Holy Bible. Drawing lessons from Easter, Kanter said that Jesus rose from the dead to cleanse a society because the human body cannot live without sin. As such, Christians are expected to obey the words of God in practical terms, not just by words. Kanter, who led hundreds of Anglican Christian faithful, thanked God for successfully finishing the Holy Week, which ended today with an Easter service at St. Luke's Anglican Church, Benin Kebbi. Edo State Governor Monday Okpebolo and the state chairman of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Tony Eziegbemi, have urged Nigerians to embrace unity, love, and resilience during the Easter season and beyond. In a statement issued this morning by his chief press secretary, Fred Itua, Okpebolo extended warm greetings and heartfelt wishes to all Edo residents, both within the state and in the diaspora, as they mark the joyous celebration of Easter. Reflecting on the deep meaning of the season, the governor described Easter as a powerful symbol of hope, sacrifice, and renewal. He also acknowledged the challenges that the state had faced and continued to navigate while drawing inspiration from the Easter story, which underscored the possibility of overcoming adversity through faith and collective effort. He reiterated his administration's unwavering commitment to good governance, sustainable development, and the well-being of every Edo resident. Nigerian chess master and founder of Chess in Slums Africa, Tunde Onokoya, has made history by setting a new Guinness World Record for the longest chess marathon. Onokoya achieved this milestone today after clocking 64 hours of continuous play alongside his playing partner, American chess player Sean Martinez, in Times Square, New York. The previous record of 61 hours, 3 minutes and 34 seconds was set in 2024 by Norwegian duo Odin Blikravier and Askild Brine. Though the record was already broken after surpassing the 62nd hour mark, Onokoya and Martinez chose to continue playing until they reached the 70-hour goal, a move aimed at drawing more attention to their cause, raising funds to build free schools for homeless children across Africa. While the marathon has been completed, the new record remains subject to official verification and confirmation by the Guinness World Records. Edo State Police Commander said it has rescued the pregnant wife of the late Friday Pius killed by suspected kidnappers on Monday, April 14, 2025, at the Uluoke community in the Sako West local government area of the state. The police also disclosed that the sister-in-law of the deceased, kidnapped along with his wife, was rescued. The public relations officer of the command, Moses Yamu, disclosed this in a statement made available to newsmen today in Benin City. Yamu said the duo were rescued by operatives of the Divisional Police Headquarters in Yamho in the locality in collaboration with vigilantes and hunters. Away from Nigeria, a 14-year-old girl has been killed by a lion on the outskirts of Nairobi, the Kenya Wildlife Service, KWS. According to reports by the Conservation Agency, the child was snatched from a residential compound on a ranch next to Nairobi National Park. The alarm was raised by another teenager, and KWS rangers followed tracks to the nearby Mbagati River, where they found the primary school girl's remains. The lion has not been found, but KWS said it had set a trap and deployed search teams to search for the animal. The agency added that additional security measures had been taken to prevent any further attacks. Elsewhere, the Democratic Republic of Congo has banned the party of former President Joseph Kabila, accusing him of links to the M23 rebel group, which has seized large parts of the east of the country this year. The ban comes amid reports that Kabila has returned to the country after spending 2 years in South Africa. He is said to have returned to the town of Goma, which was seized by the Rwandan-backed M23 in January. Kabila led DR Congo for 18 years after succeeding his father, Laurent, who was shot dead in 2001. Joseph Kabila was just 29 at the time. It also noted that Kabila had chosen to return to Goma, where he was being protected by the enemy. The PPRD has not commented on the matter. In Asia, China's ambassador to the United States, Xi Feng, has urged Washington to seek common ground with Beijing and pursue peaceful coexistence while warning that China stood ready to retaliate in the escalating trade war. Speaking at a public event in Washington, Xi said tariffs would devastate the global economy and drew a parallel between the Great Depression and tariffs imposed by the U.S. in 1930. Referring to concepts in traditional Chinese medicine like the need to balance the opposing forces of yin and yang, Xi said harmony should guide relations between the world's two largest economies. The trade war has all but frozen the mammoth trade between the world's two largest economies, with tariffs over 100% in each direction and a suite of trade, investment, and cultural restrictions. In Europe, Ukraine and Russia have accused each other of violating a brief Easter ceasefire, with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky accusing Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin of only being interested in PR. Putin's surprise announcement on Saturday, ordering his forces to stop all military activity from 6 p.m. Moscow time on Saturday until midnight on Monday, was met with immediate skepticism from Ukraine, although Kyiv agreed to the truce. Zelensky said Ukraine's military had recorded an increase in Russian shelling and the use of kamikaze drones since 10 a.m. local time today. Meanwhile, on the Russian side, there were accusations Kyiv had violated the pause in fighting hundreds of times since Saturday evening. Between 6 p.m. local time on Saturday, when the ceasefire went into effect, and midnight, Zelensky said in a post on X that there were 387 instances of shelling and 19 assaults by Russian forces. Still in Europe, Pope Francis gave the traditional Easter blessing today, appearing from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica in front of delighted crowds after a brief meeting with Vice President J.D. Vance in what marks his highest profile appearance yet since being discharged from the hospital. The 88-year-old pontiff has not led the main Holy Weekend Easter services, but has made brief appearances over the Easter weekend, including spending 30 minutes at a prison in Rome on Thursday and a visit to St. Peter's Basilica on Saturday evening. Francis, who spent 38 days in hospital with double pneumonia, where he came close to death, is unable to speak for long periods due to his respiratory difficulties and is undergoing physiotherapy to help regain his voice. The Pope also has difficulty raising his arms. But this morning, he was able to offer the Ubi et Obi blessing to the city of Rome and to the world, while an aide read his address. Only the Pope can offer this blessing, which includes the offer of an indulgence, a remission for the effect of sins. His voice sounded weak, but he appeared without the nasal cannula he has been wearing to receive oxygen as he said, "Brothers and sisters, happy Easter." He later greeted cheering crowds in St. Peter's Square from the Pope Mobile, the first time he has done so since his hospitalization. In the Americas, Canada is heading into federal elections where Prime Minister Mark Carney is vying for a chance to continue leading the country as tensions grow with its closest neighbor. The former central banker's main competition in the April 28 vote is Pierre Poilievre, Canada's Conservative Party leader, whose political capital has declined as U.S.-Canada relations nosedive amid threats from U.S. President Donald Trump. Canadians do not vote directly for Prime. The party, with the largest number of lawmakers elected to Parliament, will form the government, and its leader will become Prime Minister. While Carney's Liberal Party and Poilievre's Conservative Party are the front-runners, other major political parties will also be on the ballot, including left-leaning New Democratic Party, NDP. In the Middle East, flight data shows dozens of heavy military cargo flights arriving in Israel since the end of January, with the U.S. operating cargo flights regularly since the resumption of the war last month. Data from Flight Radar shows movement of 47 military planes, including 30 cargo aircraft, during the period from January 25, following the Gaza ceasefire implementation, until April 18th, about a month after Israel renewed the offensive. Some of the flights arrived from 7 European countries. Among these flights, 16 were carried out after the resumption of the war on March 18th, unilaterally breaking the January ceasefire. The Israeli Broadcasting Authority has described the recent movement as an unprecedented airlift for military supplies. Israeli air attacks have killed at least 25 people, including women and children, across the Gaza Strip since dawn, according to the spokesman for the Mahmoud Basal Enclave's Civil Defense Agency. In a separate statement later, the agency reported that 5 people were killed in an Israeli drone attack on a group of civilians in eastern Rafah. Israel resumed its aerial and ground assault on Gaza on March 18th after breaking a weeks-long ceasefire which had paused more than 15 months of war in the coastal territory. More than 51,000 Palestinians have been killed and vast swaths of Gaza have been devastated by 18 months of Israeli military offensive. Now talking sports, departing Manchester City captain Kevin De Bruyne says he was surprised not to be offered a new contract by the club. The 33-year-old announced at the beginning of the month he would be leaving the Etihad when his current deal expires at the end of the season. The Belgian midfielder also said he has not made any decisions about his future. De Bruyne joined City from Wolfsburg in 2015 and has won 16 trophies, including 6 Premier League titles and the Champions League in 2023. He also suggested the club's struggles this year may have contributed to the decision, although Saturday's 2-0 win at Everton boosted their hopes of securing a Champions League spot for next season. Barcelona's Robert Lewandowski was diagnosed with a hamstring injury today and is set to miss the Copa del Rey final and Champions League semi-final. The 36-year-old Polish forward, Barcelona's top goalscorer with 40 goals across all competitions, came off during his team's 4-3 La Liga win over Celta Vigo on Saturday. Reports say that Lewandowski could be out for 3 weeks, meaning he would not be available next Saturday as Barcelona face Real Madrid in the Copa final in Seville. The La Liga leaders also host Inter Milan on April 30th in the Champions League semi-final first leg and visit the Italians on May 6th. Lewandowski is set to miss league games against Mallorca on Tuesday and Valladolid on May 3rd, with a potential return against Real Madrid on May 11th, a match which could decide the title race. Barcelona, who won the Spanish Super Cup in January, are chasing a potential quadruple and are in the Champions League semi-finals for the first time since 2019. Max Verstappen took a stunning pole position after championship leader Lando Norris crashed out in a dramatic qualifying session for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Verstappen piped Oscar Piastri by 0.010 seconds with an incredible lap similar to his efforts 2 weeks ago when he converted a surprise pole into victory in Suzuka. Norris will start in 10th after he spun and hit the wall in the first sector during the first runs in Q3, calling himself an idiot on the radio as he could lose the lead in the standings to Piastri or Verstappen in today's race. Before we go, here again are the highlights. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has sued the National Broadcasting Commission over what it described as the arbitrary and unlawful ban of Idris Abdul Karim's song, Tell Your Papa. Elsewhere, a 14-year-old girl has been killed by a lion on the outskirts of Nairobi, the Kenya Wildlife Service. The child was snatched from a residential compound on a ranch next to Nairobi National Park. And in the Americas, Canada is heading into federal elections where Prime Minister Mark Carney is vying for a chance to continue leading the country as tensions grow with its closest neighbor. That was the world news on Radio Afinju. To view our channel, please follow Radio Afinju on Facebook, X, and YouTube. My name is Pearl Durotoye.